In May of 1994, a riveting gothic revenge story hit the theaters, and that movie was called The Crow. Now, my first encounter with The Crow was during a really hard time in my life. I was in a really bad relationship. A lot of it was really dark, and I didn't entirely understand it all myself. So I kind of turned to the world of TV and movies, and The Crow caught my attention. Um, it's set in the Motor City, and it is a story of lovers that have their wedding set for Halloween but are murdered together on Devil's Night, which, if you remember from being a kid, you weren't allowed outside on Devil's Night because that's when all the big kids came out to egg houses and wreak havoc. But in this story, Devil's Night is about grown-up havoc. It's fires, murder, all kinds of things like that. And it centers around Eric Draven, who was a well known rock star in the city, and he comes back the year after he and his fiancee are murdered to exact revenge. One of the key things that really caught me during that time is a specific quote from the film, and it is said that it can't rain all the time. Um, I guess that kind of resonated with me in a way that made me realize that no matter what's going on right now, it's always going to end. There's not always going to be clouds in the sky, and you're not always going to be sad and down and depressed. Um, it is my favorite because, I mean, it's dark and it's gothic and it has that dismal, dreary kind of feel, but there are kind of touchy feely moments where Eric meets up with a young girl that he and his fiance had been taking care of. They were sort of like her older sister and brother almost. They helped to raise her while her mother was out cavorting, I guess you could say, with the gangs. She was, waiting tables at bars and doing drugs. So she didn't really have her around, and they took her under their wing. Um, I guess the inspiration that I got from this film was mainly the inspiration to move on, to keep moving forward with my life. Um, so I watched that movie a lot while I was still struggling through this relationship. And then right after this relationship ended, I kind of turned back to that movie to give me that boost that I needed to remind me that it can't rain all the time. And it's just kind of something that I can always turn on, and I know the story, so it turns into background noise. And it's one of those things that I know it like the back of my hand. I've seen it so many times. Um, I actually sometimes get caught quoting the movie in my sleep while we have it playing in the background. So it's something that really has stuck with me. The characters are they're deep, and they have stories, and they don't overtake the story of the film. They're just kind of added to it. Smokey, stop. The story itself is interesting, and it keeps you in the story because you might think that you know what's going to happen next. You might think you're going to know what happens next, but you really don't. And so that is really my favorite piece of piece of art. And now she has opinions. So that's really my favorite piece of art. It takes the form of film. It takes the form of film, and I think I have to go feed my cat.